he made a mistake. He took out a good person. You know, even in the courtroom, he showed no remorse. You know, he didn't even look over there. Even you know, some type of remorse, some type of anything. Just nothing. You trying to sit there and look like you're innocent. You already pled guilty.
Minutes ago, Eric Holder was taken from the Lakewood Sheriff's Station to downtown LA. 3 undercover cars with tinted windows and sirens blaring pulled out of the substation and sped off.
Eric Holder's attorney tells TMZ that he was attacked by 2 people while in a holding cell. Eric Holder Jr. was sentenced to 60 years to life. The judge said the sentence balanced the mental health of the defendant.
60 years to life in prison. This coming here on this Wednesday out of Los Angeles.
Eric Holder, the 29-year-old LA resident known as Shady Cuz or Fly Mac, was suspected to have ties to the streets and was an aspiring rapper. Cuz was identified as the man who walked up to Hussle and others gathered in front of his Marathon clothing store, shooting and killing Nipsey in broad daylight. Surveillance video shows Cuz shooting Hussle 3 different times before kicking his dead body and leaving the scene. On Wednesday, February the 22nd of 2023, Eric Holder, known to the streets as Shady Cuz, was sentenced to 60 years to life for the murder of Aramis Ascadam, aka Nipsey Hussle.
Lou in court, good morning. This tense trial wrapping up with a verdict today. There's no doubt that Eric Holder killed Nipsey Hussle. It was all on camera, but the decision today was whether it was premeditated.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Eric Ronald Holder Jr., guilty of the crime of first-degree murder of Aramis Ascadam.
The trial began 3 weeks ago with prosecutors revealing chilling details about the entertainer's death. They said 3 years ago, Eric Holder arrived at a South LA strip mall that Hussle owned before opening fire. The 2 men grew up together. Apparently, there was some conversation about snitching. Holder left, then 10 minutes later came back and killed Hussle with 2 guns he pulled from his car. Prosecutors told jurors Holder ran away from Hussle's bullet-riddled body, but then came back a few more times to continue to shoot him before running off. In the crossfire, he also hit 2 bystanders in the parking lot, but both survived. Holder was charged with 1 count of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon. Holder's defense attorneys say Holder should be found not guilty of first-degree murder since he acted under passion. They say he was so enraged and triggered by the response, he acted without premeditating. That's what the evidence will show, they say. But jurors deciding otherwise and convicting Eric Holder of first-degree murder. We hope to hear from attorneys later on. Be sure to stay with KTLA. That's very latest. In downtown LA, I'll send it back to you.
These are the details of what took place before, during, and after the murder of Nipsey Hussle. Many people would find it ironic that the sentencing years for Cuz added up to a total of 60 years. If you weren't paying attention, it probably went over your head. Conspiracy theorists would say that the 60 years was symbolic because of the rolling 60s Crips connection to the case. The actual physical breakdown of the 60 to life prison sentence is as follows: 25 years to life for murder, 25 years to life as an enhancement for using a firearm during the crime, 10 additional years for voluntary assault using a firearm for the 2 bystanders. So in actuality, Cuz got 50 years to life plus an extra 10 years for additional specific charges. Hailing from Los Angeles, California, Eric Holder, aka Shady Cuz, was born in 1989 at the boom of the crack era. In his adolescent years, Cuz attended Crenshaw High. As a young teen, the nearly 6-foot-tall Holder would find himself embracing Los Angeles gang culture. At an early age, Cuz had already earned a reputation as a certified killer and street soldier in the hood. It's no secret that both Cuz and Nipsey were a part of the Rolling 60s Neighborhood Crips. The Rolling 60s Neighborhood Crips, or 60 NHC, also known as the Rich Rolling 60s, are a large primarily black street gang located on the west side of South Los Angeles, formerly known as South Central LA. The Rolling 60 NHC originated as a clique of Tookie Williams gang. The the West Side Crips in the 1970s. 60s territory stretches from Slauson Avenue to Florence Avenue, between Western Avenue and around Crenshaw Boulevard. It wouldn't be long before rumors would start to spread in the hood that Cuz was a snitch. The snitch jacket is one of the worst jackets that you could have in any hood. It was this bad jacket that would cause the separation between Cuz and the rest of the set. Dealing with mental issues and struggling with dependency would add to Cuz's savage state of mind. Years prior, Cuz got caught lacking and was packed out in the hood. This incident led to the swelling of the brain, in which Cuz would undergo major surgery.
Yeah, I heard, there was always those rumors about him that he might have had like some mental issues or something like that.
Nah, he had brain surgery though.
Oh.
Some shit that happened. He got to a fight for brain swelled up and all that. They stumped him out. You know what I mean?
Damn.
With or without the drugs and mental issues, Cuz was a live wire that was quick to crash out at the drop of a dime. Los Angeles court records will show that Eric Holder, aka Shitty Cuz, had an extensive criminal history. In 2009, Cuz faced domestic violence and battery charges that were eventually dismissed. There was also several firearm charges, some listed as pending. On one of those charges, Cuz was accused of carrying a loaded firearm and carrying a concealed weapon on the same case. The first charge resulted in a guilty plea, the second charge being dismissed. Those charges dated back to 2012. Cuz also received 3 years probation and 180 days in the Los Angeles County Jail. In 2015, there was a probation revocation hearing in the case. Meanwhile, the snitching rumors would ultimately lead to Cuz leaving the hood and moving to Long Beach. It was in the Long Beach area that Cuz would meet Nicholson, who would ultimately end up being the getaway driver for Nip's murder. The year is 2019. On a bright Sunday afternoon in sunny California, Nipsey Hussle had just arrived at the shopping plaza for an unannounced visit, as he often did. While catching up with his partners and employees in the parking lot in front of his Marathon store, Hussle spent about a half an hour signing autographs and posing for photos with fans. At the same time, Brynita Nicholson, a woman who Cuz was casually dating, aka smashing, was driving him around the area. As they stopped to get something to eat, Brynita noticed Nip outside of his store and immediately began to compliment Nip, jumping out to get an autograph and take a picture. Per Brynita, Cuz never did indicate that he knew Nip personally, but approached him for a brief conversation after ordering chili cheese fries at the nearby burger joint while she waited in the car. A brief conversation between Nip and Cuz was casual and low-key, according to witness testimony, but did include Nip telling Cuz that there was rumors going around that he had cooperated with law enforcement or snitched. Nip allegedly encouraged Cuz to get the paperwork, showing he had not snitched in order to clear up the rumors. Upon returning to the car, Cuz directed Brynita to pull into a nearby parking lot so that he could eat his fries. According to Brynita, she witnessed Cuz loading a 9mm pistol, and after taking a few bites of his food, he walked back toward the Marathon store after putting on a red t-shirt. Per eyewitnesses and camera surveillance, Cuz confronted Nip and said, "You're through," as he opened fire with a gun in each hand, hitting Nip 11 times, then kicking him twice in the head. The two other men, Kerry Lathan and another gentleman, were also wounded by gunfire. At the end of the day, the big U setup shit simply sounds like some slander shit orchestrated by Wack. The actions of Cuz were that of a man who had a personal vendetta, especially with the 2 kicks to the head.
Downtown LA courthouse, where the man who killed rapper Nipsey Hussle has just been found guilty of murder. KCAL9's Jeff Nguyen is live outside, or actually inside the courthouse with reaction for us. Jeff.
So, Amy, Eric Holder Jr. was convicted on half a dozen counts. The most serious was first-degree murder. Let's take a listen to how that verdict was read in court this morning.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Eric Ronald Holder Jr., guilty of the crime of first-degree murder of Ermias Ashkadam in violation of Penal Code Section 187, subsection A.
Eric Holder Jr. was convicted of 1 count of first-degree murder and 5 other felony counts this morning for the shooting death of Nipsey Hussle more than 3 years ago. Nipsey, whose birth name was Ermias Ashkadam, was shot and killed in the parking lot of his store known as The Marathon. Prosecutors say that Holder was angered by a conversation he had with Nipsey and 2 other men, in which he was accused of being a snitch or a police informant. So prosecutors say that Holder came back to the store later in the day with a gun. Prosecutors say there were multiple witnesses who saw him walk up and open fire on the rapper and injuring 2 other men. Videos and photos displayed during the trial showed Holder fleeing from the scene with a semi-automatic handgun. Earlier, we spoke to Holder's attorney, who acknowledged that his client shot and killed Nipsey, but urged the jury to find him guilty of a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter because he was, quote, acting in the heat of passion. And just a few minutes ago, we heard from Nipsey's friend, Herman Douglas, who was a witness to the shooting and also testified in court.
He made a mistake. He took out a good person. You know, even in the courtroom, he showed no remorse. You know, he didn't even look over there. Even you know, some type of remorse, some type of anything. Just no nothing. You trying to sit there and look like you're innocent. You already pled guilty.
And Eric Holder Jr. is scheduled to be back in court on September 15th for sentencing. He could face up to life in prison. We're live in downtown Los Angeles. Jeff Nguyen, KCAL 9 News.